This is question 1, and this is from the June 2013 C123 exam paper. So this question asks about a series of data. Okay, so these are all air samples that have been collected, and it tells you the amount of sulfur dioxide. It focuses in here on sample 5. And it asks why they don't discard this, because on initial looks it looks a little bit lower than the remaining values, but they don't discard it. Okay, so from that, if they haven't discarded it, you have to assume that they're saying that it's not an outlier, and that's how you get the very first mark. So you point out that it might not be an outlier, so they don't really have reason to get rid of it. What you then have to do is then say why it might have happened. Now, the fact that this is to do with air quality, you can use the weather to explain why there might have been a decrease. So it might be that there was a change in wind speed or wind direction. It might have even been due to a downpour of rain or something like that. Okay, so any logical reason really that would make this sample lower than the rest would get you the mark. With this second part of the question, so section B, it's plotting some data onto a graph. Now they've already given you the first few results, the first 5 results have shown you how to plot the data, and then it asks you to plot the remaining bits of information. So if you look at the mark scheme here, you need to have plotted both of the points, so at point 4 that you plotted it at 52, and at 0.5 that you would have plotted it at 43. Now your margin for error is quite small here, it's plus or minus half a small square to get the mark for both of them. And then the same for the range bars, you need to have drawn a tall letter I from 46 to 55 and from 40 to 45, and again the accuracy then needs to be plus or minus half a small square, so you have to be very accurate, use a sharp pencil when you're plotting this data. But do remember that this would be double the size you were given for the mock exam. It would be on A4 paper, so you would be able to see it a little bit clearer as well. You're then asked to draw a curve of best fit. They even tell you that it's got to be a curve, so it should not be dot to dot. It has to be a hand-free, a smooth curve drawn free without a ruler, freehand without a ruler, and it needs to go as close to all of the points as possible, and it should be going through the range bars as well. B part 3 asks you to describe in detail the trend shown by the graph. So if we take a look at the graph, we can see that obviously there's an overall trend that the greater the distance from the factory, the less sulfur dioxide there is. So you can see a general trend going down there. But also there's 2 marks available, so you need to talk about the fact that the further away that you are from the factory or the power station, then that decrease gets smaller. Okay, so if we look at the mark scheme, as the distance of the power from the power station increases, the concentration of sulfur dioxide decreases, but that decrease gets less as you get further away from the power station or something along those lines. So it's a rapid fall at first, and then it gets slower over time. B part 4 asks you to use the table to evaluate the confidence that you have in the results. Okay, so if we take a look at the table of results, you can see here that the range bars are really quite small. Okay, and that's what you need to be talking about when you're talking about the confidence in the results. So talking about the reliability. Okay, so you can say that you've got high confidence in the results, and the reason is because the range bars are small. So you need to say both of those things to be getting the marks. Part C asks you to choose 3 statements that when you put them together it gives the best explanation for why sulfur dioxide itself doesn't build up in the atmosphere. So we all know that sulfur dioxide is connected with acid rain being made, but what does the sulfur dioxide actually do to make the acid rain? Well, the first thing it does is it reacts with water vapour. The second thing is it requires more oxygen as well. Okay, so sulfur dioxide reacts with the water vapour. It also reacts with oxygen, and that then makes the acid rain. So it's those 3 statements that you need to tick.